Hey guys, it's Skybird, and I need your help. So I'm actually starting to work on a Bionicle game. Well, when I say starting to work, this is day one, I guess technically. I just put out the announcement yesterday. I am looking for people who would like to join in on helping with this project as well. So if you do have any experience with game development or with music, with sound effects, things like that, storyboarding, and more, go ahead and reach out to me. I am in the very early process of doing this, so we will see how things go from there. But the biggest thing that you can help me with, even if you have no experience at all with game development or anything like that, if you do have experience with studio, specifically posing models in studio, then go ahead and reach out to me, because I actually need help animating the Rahi that will be appearing in this game. At this point in time, I have over 160 Rahi mocks of that will be appearing in this game, not to mention several of the official LEGO Rahi mocks between the years of 2001 and 2003 will also be making an appearance in this game. So creating sprite sheets for this is a pretty ambitious project for an individual person to do, but if even 10 people, saw this video or saw my post on Instagram, saw my post on Discord, don't know why I couldn't think of that, then, this process goes from 160 sprite sheets to 16 sprite sheets per person, which isn't so bad. And again, of course, the more the merrier, right? So the process that I am actually talking about here specifically today is the animation process, and I'm actually going to be showing you kind of how I do it, but I only really need help with one portion of it specifically. Of course, if you do want to go above and beyond and help with more stuff, I definitely encourage that. But in this case here, I chose the LordZoabar bat. The reason I chose this model is it is a fairly simple model in terms of animation. Right now it only needs flight animations and hanging, idling animations, and that's it. I do have both of those made already, so it's just a matter of putting them together. And in terms of flight animations, what I mean when I say animations is just putting the Rahi in slightly different poses so that they can be rendered, and then those renders can be turned into a sprite sheet, which I will show the process of here in a minute. But essentially, I just took the one bat, right? I grab the wing, I go ahead and hinge it, wherever I need to, and then I move the wing to where I need it to be, mirror that on the other side, and that gets me the next animation frame here. So in most of these, I moved them either like 4 or 5 spaces. It just depends. Doesn't really matter. Every Rahi is going to be different. Also, every Rahi is going to require different amounts of animation frames. So as I mentioned before, the LordZoabar bat just needs flying and hanging frames. It might need some more in the future, but that's always something we can revisit. So I'm going to be categorizing my Rahi in a list depending on what types of animation frames they need, and then I will release that list, and you guys can choose from it which Rahi you would like to animate. You can choose one at a time, or you can choose just a handful. You can choose the same ones as other people have chosen. I'm not worried about overlap or anything like that, but I will go ahead and release the list to show, which ones have been made and which ones have been chosen and stuff, because obviously prefer to choose one that hasn't already been chosen or already been made, right? Anyway. So yeah, the LordZoabar bat is a pretty simple one. Like I said, the head isn't moving in the animations, though it does move in the real-life model. The ears aren't moving in the animations, though again, it does move in the real-life model. Only the wings are moving, and then of course, like I said, the hanging animation moves as well. The way I created this, as I just showed you, is I moved the wings slightly. I created 6 frames. Really, I just created these 4, right? And then I copied this frame over here, copied this frame over here, and then eventually this will play in a loop. Once I have all of those frames created, I just go ahead and copy, and then I angle this by 45 degrees, and that gives me my next frames that I will need. This game is going to be an isometric, two-dimensional, platform-like game. It won't be unlike the Bionicle Quest for the Toa Game Boy Advance game, but it's going to be an updated version of it. It's not going to be the same game at all. It's non-canon. It is taking place on my own island, obviously with my own Rahi as well, but you can think of it at least as a updated version of, or a better version of, I guess, the Bionicle Quest for the Toa Game Boy Advance game. It's not really going to be like any of the other fan games that are currently being made, which is always nice. And yeah, it's just going to be a fun little side project, essentially. So yeah, essentially all I did here was I took that model, I copied it 5 times, rather. I just move it 45 degrees, move it up here, move it another 45 degrees, paste it over here. It doesn't matter where I paste it, because at the end of the day, the sprite sheet, this is all I really need you guys to make. If this is all of the work that you're able to do, you can save this file and you can send it right back to me on Discord or Instagram, which will be linked in the description below. Of course, I make a point for my DMs to always be open, so feel free to DM me with suggestions, questions, or to reach out if you have any sort of experience you would like to contribute to this project as well. Alongside that, of course, once I send you guys the files that you choose, you could just do this process as I showed you before. This whole process right here took me about 5 minutes, so pretty easy on this Rahi, but other Rahi are a little bit more difficult because they might be a scorpion, which have legs to animate, a head to animate, fists to animate, a tail to animate, so on and so forth, right? So those will take a little bit more time, but eventually this file I will turn into, and let's see if we can get this to load super quick, this. And in this case, this one I chose 3 different colors for. Not all Rahi are going to have multiple colors. They may only show up in 1 color. They may have 5 colors. Who knows, right? But essentially, all I need help making, if the minimal amount of effort if the minimal amount of work you are able to put into a project like this is this amount of work, this is all I need, because I can do the rest of the work from here. But I will go ahead and show you from this point on how I go about making the renders, or the sprite sheets rather, from these files. So if this is something you guys are interested in helping me with, then feel free to stop the video here. Go ahead and, like I said, look for the file that I will be putting out, or the list, the categorized list that I will be putting out of all of my Rahi. Probably take me a few minutes to make it, of course. It's not out yet. But then you can choose from that list. You can get a hold of me however we do it. We'll probably put it on Drive or something, allow people to claim Rahi, just put their name on it or whatever, and go from there. So like a little Excel spreadsheet or something. And yeah, then if you guys want to see what the Rahi look like, go to my Discord, because I'll probably be putting them on the Excel spreadsheet with their name and their number. And in my Discord, go to the channel Skybird Mocks, and that should show you my Rahi in that numbered order. So like I said, I have 160. There's a number before every single one of them. So if, say, you want to do Rahi number 142, then, go to Discord, find Rahi number 142, and that'll show you which one it is. And like I said, I'll probably put the name and what type of Rahi it is on that list as well. But yeah, like you guys said, there probably won't be pictures on the Discord, or on the Excel spreadsheet file. So anyway, yeah, so after that, like I said, this is essentially the file that we will be creating. I am going to be moving some of this stuff slightly because, for one thing, let me go in here, go to render super quickly, go down to orthographic view, close this. That will fix this real quick. Then I can go down here, make sure I have everything selected, not the wings though. There we go. No, there's certain, okay, yeah, this is zoom up, it's fine. Yep, I'm just gonna move all this stuff super quick, and I'm gonna show you guys how I go about actually turning these into sprites. So we're gonna go up a little bit, do the exact same thing again, but we're gonna go with the next one. Hopefully I get all the pieces that I need. And that, I'm not hitting the button to move them any specific number of times. So, not important that they're a certain distance apart. Click that. Yep, I'm gonna go with this one again. Alright, the whole reason I did that was just to space them out a little bit so that when I go in and render them, when I go back to that orthographic view, none of the sprites are touching, essentially. None of the renders are touching. I do want to also move these hanging bats just a teeniest bit as well. And again, I'm going to do that by zooming up on them, clicking on this. Okay, so render, go to this zoom scale. Let's do 25. No, we're gonna go with I'm gonna go with 30. Why not? Round number. I'm gonna say this as test 2 because I already made this video once and I didn't like it. Yeah, and then we will see. This will take probably a couple of minutes just to render because I am rendering at the highest resolution that Studio will allow for, although I am rendering in the medium setting. So I'll just show you my settings real quick. Medium, I am rendering with a transparent background. Again, this is not stuff you guys have to do. You're more than welcome to do it. Anybody, by the way, who chooses to make a Rahi file, you have my permission to use that file with whatever you want. Just don't distribute it. That's the main thing. There are going to be some exceptions to that because there are going to be some Rahi that I have made that were inspired by other creators, and so I don't consider myself the primary owner to the rights of those models necessarily, and in those cases I don't want to give away something that I don't consider myself the rightful owner of. You know what I mean? And Also, I want to go ahead and mention, too, that when this game is made available publicly, all of the sprite sheets will also be made available publicly, again, with that exception that I previously mentioned. Also, any sort of art assets and stuff like that that I am able to make freely available. I'd like the game to be, kind of an open source game, so to speak, so that people can go in and kind of do whatever they want with it, right? But yeah. I guess I could talk about the game super quick while this is rendering. Essentially, it is going to be a game that takes place after the events of 2003 on my own island called Mota. And this game is going to be a isometric game. Specifically, it's going to be graphically in the era of like a DS-like game, so it's not going to be like anything AAA or anything crazy, right? Crazy like that. On top of that, I don't want to spoil anything. I've been working on a little bit of storyboarding stuff in the background and working on the plot, right, and stuff like that. But essentially, the game takes place after the defeat of Makuta. The Turaga tell their tales of Metronui and places abroad, and encourage the Matoran to go and explore. So the Matoran, inevitably do that, exploring places on Motunui they never dared go before, but also exploring places far beyond the shores of the island. And one day they're finding the island of Mota, and yeah, that is the start. Let's just say that, right? So let's go ahead and get into this file. So you'll see that, like I said, I rendered things at that 30% zoom scale. I actually really like the amount of detail that provided for me here. It also looks kind of cel shaded, so I'm actually really happy with it. I know it's not, obviously, but it kind of looks that way with how these noses and stuff like that, how the lighting is handled on them. So I'm really, really happy with this sprite sheet here. This is just one example of it. I will also show you how I went and changed the color of Rahi like this super quickly, because like I said, this took me about 5 minutes to make the sprite sheet for. It took me maybe another 5 minutes to get everything kind of oriented in the right place, make sure that they're all in the right coordinates, if that makes sense. But essentially, I can go in here, I can copy this very quickly, go into another file, doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to open a new one here. We will paste it, and then I'm going to make sure that this is just facing the camera for ease of use, because why not? And I am going to... we moved things upward a little bit. Didn't mean to do that. Not a big deal. It's not really going to change anything. But yeah, so I'm going to press Shift and V to select the color select mode, and then I'm going to click on black. And the reason for that is now I have everything that is a black piece selected, and I'm going to change it to dark red. Now the bat is dark red and gray, and that's actually a really nice color scheme. I do like dark red and gray a lot, but I'm going to go in here and make things a little more bright. So we're going to go with orange. This is the exact same color scheme I chose in-game. Another one I really liked was regular bright red, of course, classic red and orange. And then, of course, I can also go in here and change the eye color as well. So I changed it from bright green to maybe lime green in this case, and now you get this really nice looking bat sprite. Took me maybe 2 minutes to do that. That's probably stuff that I can do on my side, but if you guys would like to do that and just save the file just like this and send it to me, or you can put all of your different colors in one file and send that whole file to me, then yeah, more than welcome, and then I can turn them into sprites from there. But yeah, as you saw in Paint 3D, the worst of Paint. No, I'm joking. But yeah, this is what the file looks like. They are the exact same sprites every time, just different colors, so I don't have to go in and rechange these colors or code any sort of color changes in. I can just reference these sprite sheets independently from each other, and just want to make sure that everything is good. Of course, I can go in here later and really refine and look at details, but it's not a huge deal right now. And yeah, it looks pretty good. There are a couple of artifacts here, like this little piece is sticking out of the back of one of the models. Not a huge deal, and I can probably see it. Yeah, I can. In here specifically. I think it's just one of the pieces missing. No, it's not. And I could go in there and I could change that if I wanted to. It's not a huge deal, like I mentioned before, but it can't hurt, so. But yeah, so that is essentially everything that I need. If this is a project you guys would like to help work on, like I said, feel free to reach out to me. I do keep my Discord and Instagram DMs open for reasons just like this. So any other help you guys would also like to put into this game would be greatly appreciated. I do plan on using the Godot engine. This is not something that I have a ton of experience with, so I do have to say bear with me on that stuff. I do also take care of my mom, so that is obviously what comes first. So this is definitely a long-form project, a little bit of a labor of love. But, it's possible. It's definitely a good use for these Rahi, so why not do it, right? Alright, so that is pretty much it for this one, guys. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Again, reach out to me. Share the video if you'd like to with anybody you might know who would like to get on board with a project like this. If you find this video on Facebook, if I cross-post it there, again, same thing. Make sure to message me on Facebook as well. And yeah, just have fun with it, Like I said, you guys will be able to kind of claim your own Rahi files from the Excel sheet. So once you guys have the files, feel free to build the Rahi in real life if you want to test it out for fun. I don't use rubber bands in my studio files because, well, they don't really exist in studio, so that might be something that's a little bit more difficult. But if you play around with it, you can figure it out usually pretty easily. I don't think that there's any really precarious rubber band placement on any of my models except for this Wadari bat, which is ironic. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one, so take care.